on in. Maybe I should start by saying I salute you. Remember how? I'm not going to go through that. Today's topic, equal partnership in marriage. I told my brother who was visiting that this was my topic, and he said, well, the day he got married, he said to his wife, he said, well, now that I'm the presiding leader of this family, I command you to do whatever you want to do. And she's obeyed 100%. Good way to put it. Hi, come on in, have a chair. Good. Okay, before we delve into this, I'd like to define the word equal. Help me understand how you understand the word equal. Yes?
This is always trying to train or discipline our children. It's equal, we always said was fair. What would be fair?
Fair. Oh, that's good. Okay. Anything else? Equal, yeah.
Equal effort, equal understanding.
Equal understanding, equal effort. Okay. The word equal. Any other synonyms?
I guess as I think about this, my mind goes to don't assume anything. So I don't know what equal means, and I definitely don't know what fair means. In our family, that's the F word, but equal, at least what it means is don't assume that I'm entitled to anything more or different than whatever. You can finish that sentence however you want, but as in between the two of us.
So the same, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what that looks like, but I'm not entitled to any more authority or instruction or right or blah, whatever. It's like, no, we're working through this together, whatever that means, we're in it together. And
Okay. Good one. Yeah.
I think it's 100%, both sides.
Okay. So exactly. Yes. Thank you.
It can also mean just as good as the other or capable.
Okay. Good one. Thank you. Thank you, Lana.
So to me, it doesn't mean the same, like if you had an equation on both sides, but you can have two different equations, but coming together, like the equal is in the middle and coming together.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
So I was just looking at this picture, like, just like what she was saying, they don't look exactly the same, but they're standing right next to each other. And I think of them like him with a crown on and she with a crown on. They're both like equal, but even though they're a little bit different.
Yeah. Equal but different. Okay. Yeah.
Same dedication, same contribution, same time.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay.
My analogy is your right eye and your left eye.
Oh, great. That's so
Because
good.
you see, they're equal, because they're different, you have perception.
Wonderful example. Yeah. You have
This guy's, I don't think I've heard the word respect, because I'm sure, I know that we interpret things that happen differently. And that is kind of a manifestation of how you react to something, the way you interpret it.
Yeah.
But I think respect for your partner is very important, that they have an important point of view.
Yeah. Absolutely. One more. Yes.
I think I mentioned it before I got married, I made a list of the things that were important to me. And I shared that with the young lady I was wanting to get married to. So, okay, how do you feel about this? So we began early on knowing the things that were important to each other. So we didn't have a contradiction, and conflict. So when you start, you have to know where you're going. And that was what I did. It helped me a lot.
Good one. Thank you. Thank you for your input, everyone. What I'm hearing is that usually the word equal means same. Well, it does mean same, but so same in quantity or size or degree or something around it. But are women and so it means kind of identical, right? But are men and women identical? No, and could never be. So is that helpful? I don't like that word. Let's use another word. Here's a visual representation of something that's equal. So kids of different heights, they all have the equal size box. Is it helpful to this person?
No.
No, it's not. Even though it's equal, right, it's same, right, it's identical. I'm gonna propose that there's a better word, and I'm gonna use it, and that is equitable. Equitable would be something fair and just, taking into account differences, okay? So let's see how we can make this equitable. There we go. This person doesn't need it, that person needs double. That makes it so everyone can see, right? Everyone can live their life and have the freedoms they need to progress and expand. And eventually, wouldn't it be nice if there was no impediments to our vision and we could just not have to have booster seats or anything? But you see what I mean? The difference between the word equal, we're not gonna use it as the word same. We're gonna use it as the word equitable. Is that right? Equity.
I'm just thinking too, that word equity, like a participant.
Yeah.
Would that be
Sure.
something?
Yeah.
And I like what was legal partnership. A partnership has the same goals as far as
Yeah.
major goals, you know. You may have lots of differences and maybe like any kind of partnership, and a good partnership, this is your goal.
Good to know the end result. Yeah. Okay, well, so can men and women have equity in a marriage? Yeah. Yeah, that's possible, and the examples, of course, was scissors. One end can't work without the other. Earbuds, you need two to get the full sound. Your hands, totally opposite, right? Similar, but opposite, and only working together can they reach the best possible use of both of them. And so, like I say, we're not gonna use the word equal as in same, we're gonna use the word equal as in equitable, where each gets what they need to progress. Okay, funny, but Elder Quinlan L. Cook had the same idea. Let's read what he said. This is coming out of the Liahona, September of this year. Women and men have, quote, women and men have unique roles as outlined in the family, a proclamation to the world. But their stewardships are equal in value and importance. Not the same. They're equal in value and importance. I think some of you mentioned that. They have equal power to receive a revelation for the family. When they work together in love and righteousness, their decisions are heavenly blessed, or heaven blessed. Okay. That was in the Liahona in 2019. So their stewardships are equal in value and importance. Good. Okay, well, I love that definition, and I want to talk just for a minute. What gets in the way of equity in a marriage relationship?
Everything.
Life. I'm gonna start us off. That was a good way to start us off. Have you ever heard this? Money is power? Yeah. It's a general consensus probably in the world. Money is power. And why is that? Why is money is power? Why? Explain what that means to you. Yes.
The more you have, the more money you have more opportunities and more ability to do things than other people.
Sure. Yeah. Anything else?
I think also our world values monetary things, and so when you have lots of, or someone's producing that, it shows a lot more value. Like you see even teachers and people that take care of young children, their payment is so much lower than the value that they provide.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting, it shows where not we, but as a general, like where the value is placed upon,
Because getting a raise is a reward for good behavior, for appropriate and hardworking behavior, right? Yeah.
And I think you can fall under a false premise that I'm the breadwinner, and therefore my opinion is more important than your opinion.
Excellent.
Is that
Okay.
called pride?
Yeah. So more money has more decision making, more influence, indicating that you're maybe more powerful and so on. So I'm not gonna ask you for any response, but is that true in your relationship? about it. Who's got the final word? Don't tell me, don't tell me. I don't wanna know about your relationship. But I mean, just something to think about, right? You know? What else gets in the way of equity in a marriage relationship?
Selfishness.
Selfishness, what else?
Tiredness.
Tiredness, yes.
Control, someone wants to be in charge.
Someone wants to be in charge. Okay, control issues? Yes.
Sometimes we switch roles, like what you did as a young couple, then you start to have children. Certain roles change, and even as empty nesters, now our roles are changing.
Yes,
This is changing us.
change, constant flux. How about tradition? How about you, that's the way you saw your mom and dad do it, so that's what you expect in your relationship. And that can get in the way of doing the work that needs to be done to make a family run and make a relationship successful. Because that's what you expected as a kid, and that's what you saw as a kid. How about cultural expectations? Some cultures say, man is in charge and they can dominate and, you know, that type of thing. And that's cultural, agreed upon with the whole population. These are things that can get in the way. Okay, here we go. This is a picture of President Jean B. Bingham. You can't be in church leadership without a middle initial. Have you noticed that? There she is. She was released last year, 2022. But she said this, and I need a reader. You can read in a big booming voice. Someone? Yes, would you? Yeah.
Satan incites comparison as a tool to create feelings of being superior or inferior, hiding the eternal truth that men's and women's innate differences are God-given and equally valued.
One more. Oh! Yeah.
His goal has been to foster a power struggle rather than a celebration of the unique contributions of men and women that complement one another and contribute to unity.
Great, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Power struggle, that really throw a wrench into a unity in relationship. Right now, I'd like you to just turn to someone, not your spouse, because your spouse knows everything already about you. We want to share our good ideas with someone new. So if that means you have to get out of your chair and move over, great, do that. This is the question, Anne. What challenges come to a relationship if husband or wife feel inferior or superior? One up, one down. What challenges come to a relationship if a husband or a wife feel inferior or superior? Go. Just 5 minutes to talk about this. So reach out to someone.
You and I and these two. Okay, what do you think? I think that also help us to learn and be better when the other person comes with a different idea or a different concept of, you know, what life should be or how things should be, that it opens up different ways to solve problems, different ways to deal with yourselves, each other, your kids, other people around you. I think it gives them, you know, better ideas. You can kind of move around and into those differences of your own opinions with your spouse, that it helps you to be more tolerant of your children when they decide that the way you're doing it is not that great, and they want to do something different, that maybe what they want to do really isn't all that wrong. It's just different. Conflicts but differences. Yeah.
I fought, I mean, I just fought. You're right.
Those are good mothers.
I'm so sorry. I really, and that isn't fair, is it? No. She was soft I want to go to a concert. All these kids, all coming getting carried.
Just have to skip those things that you can't, come together on those days. We don't agree on that, so let's move on. Because if you stay there, you'll never get anything.
But if you don't, there'll be no car,
He's a no-nonsense guy over there. He does that to me too.
You're interrupting the story, thank you. So
Yes.
Go right
Still working. How many kids do you have? That's all because your kids have been raised different.
Yeah.
Even they're older and all of that and still in town.
You'll have to deal with it. That was the end, and then you would say something else. I said,
So you've got to, kind of figure out what's worth trying to smooth over and what's worth just walking off and leaving it alone. And, because you're not going to solve every problem or everything. We've had some really serious problems with his daughter.
that was the problem. Them putting one of us
Not an intelligent daughter, cannot reach you.
It's a
It's
learning
so
experience.
wonderful. But I just want you to know that we are.
Life's easy. And not all the kids are.
And we had to do that.
We learned that lesson.
One more minute.
Now we're
One more minute.
switched over and it's worked out. And sometimes you just want to out of it. Instead of trying to fix it and make it, sometimes it's better to just say, okay, we're gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna go there. And eventually.
You love
I can't make it like this all the time. Sometimes you need to let it go and let them figure it out on their own journey.
Okay, let's regroup.
When she did.
We all do. We're perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
So when I'm not doing well, I'll send them to your house.
No. Okay, the question was, what problems and challenges arise to a marriage if a husband or a wife feel inferior or superior? What stood out in your mind in your conversation? Yes.
You just don't really have peace, a real peace in the home. I think it really creates an uneasy air with your spouse, and their sense of self-worth can be deeply affected.
Wonderful, yeah. Great. Great. What else? Yes, go.
You know, so often we think we're really smart, right? I tell people, you go to a library, you pick up one book and open it and say, what do you know in that book? And you realize you're a complete ignoramus. And you literally know almost nothing with everything that's out there.
Yeah.
And so when you tell people, wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong, but that pride tells you, I don't want to admit maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but we're wrong a lot of times.
Yeah. Good to remember, so good to remember. Yes.
Or you can say, what does that author know?
Not the boss of me. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
I think it affects a lack of trust because, and then it like goes hand in hand with respect, because I think if you respect someone, you don't see them lower, than you, and then you don't respect yourself if you see someone higher than you. I just think the basis of strong relationships are completely affected in a power struggle like that. The trust is gone, the friendship, understanding, communication, the big dogs that are at the bottom, none of those are working if you have that, so.
When there's a one up and one down, it just doesn't work. I don't care who's the up and who's the down. It's not a peaceful, respectful situation. Yeah, comment.
So I think there's a version of this that's maybe not quite so toxic, but also has some challenges where there is an acceptance or that could morph in or over time become an assumption or a deferral. This is you, you're better at this, so you're gonna deal with this.
Oh,
Or
sure.
we all, like, I'm the one who's good at this, you're the one who's good at that, I'm gonna go do this. And that can be efficient, but it also can deprive the one who's clearly not as good or strong in an area from growth in that area.
Wonderful comment. So my husband died 2.5 years ago. I didn't know anything about the money. I just let him do that and it seemed okay and it's great. And what a surprise to learn all those interesting things. I've had very good help, and so on. Very good counselors, wonderful. But wow, I didn't know anything about that. And why didn't I? Because we divided our labors. And maybe I needed to know more about some other things. Maybe I needed to know how to run the lawnmower. Maybe I needed to know, you know, and maybe he, you know, maybe Dan could have cooked a little. Did you hear that, Dan? Anyway. So,
You were just so good at cooking.
what?
You were just so good at cooking.
Oh, that wasn't true, but
No one
anyway,
needs to
yeah.
learn how to run a lawnmower,
What?
ever. No one ever needs to.
Right, pay the neighborhood kid, but anyway. So there's growth and development in learning something new, and there's benefit to dividing and conquering, and you do that and so on. But when it comes to kids, which we're kind of mostly through that, really, the little kid era, maybe some of you aren't, but most of us are. Now I can't remember what I was saying. So busy being relieved that I don't have small children. But anyway, I can't remember what I was
But
saying.
you and Dan have different roles.
Yeah, you have different roles. So that works, and then perhaps when we retire, it's time to reevaluate. Like, I have two very good girlfriends, one of which is sitting in this room, and their husbands do all the cooking in the house. Wow, that's just so impressive to me, okay, because it's typically a woman's role. And he's sitting right there, let's give him a round of applause.
He's the best.
Yeah, like, that's so neat, that's just neat. I know another couple, she makes more money than him, so she's gonna be the breadwinner. Okay, great, works for you, great, not typical, works for you, neat. The kids get what they need, then that's all I care, you know, that's what we need to. Anyway, let's find out how Adam and Eve handled their marriage. There's not a lot of detail, but there is some detail. Let's go to Moses 5. Does anyone have their scriptures? Moses 5, we're looking at 1. Verse 1. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it? I'll read it. They've been driven out, I'm gonna paraphrase. Adam began to till the earth and eat the bread by the sweat of his brow. I, the Lord, as I had commanded him, and Eve also his wife did labor with him. So they worked together, right? Is that what you get from that?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to 2. And Adam knew his wife, and she bare him sons and daughters, and they began to multiply and replenish the earth. They had kids together, okay? Family. Let's go to 5. And he gave unto them commandments that they should worship the Lord their God. So they worshiped together. So they went to the same church on Sunday, right? They had the same values. Which makes a marriage a lot easier, I tell you. We got that in common. Yeah, you got that in common. Let's go to 12. And Adam and Eve blessed the name of God, and they made all things known unto their sons and daughters. So they taught their kids together. It wasn't her deal, it wasn't his deal. They taught them together. Let's go to 27. And Adam and his wife mourned before the Lord because of their darn kids. That's what I put in there. Anyway, so they celebrated the good and also mourned together for the bad. Wonderful, wonderful advice to anyone, and again, not a lot of detail, but some detail into their marriage. So let's get real about relationships, and you probably picked up that green sheet as we came in. So what's the point of this little cartoon?
You're both right.
You're both right. Is he right? Yeah. Is she right? Yeah. Depends on your perspective. Depends on your perspective, yes. Proclamation says it this way. I'm going to read. Proclamation to the family. By divine design, fathers are to preside over their families in love and righteousness. Mothers are primarily responsible for the nurture of their children. In these sacred responsibilities, fathers and mothers are obliged to help one another as equal partners. I'm gonna use the word fair, just, and maybe the same partners in that instance, okay? So let's talk about these roles. Man to preside. Preside in some cultures means to dominate. And then it's their word is the final word, and they have the final word in all decisions. It overrides everyone else's opinions, and perhaps they force their opinions. But the general handbook, I didn't even know there was a general handbook on this. It says, where is it? Yeah. Presiding in the family is a responsibility to help lead family members back to dwell in God's presence. It is done by serving. And teaching. That doesn't sound like dominating, does it? With gentleness, doesn't sound like dominating. Meekness and pure love, following the example of Jesus Christ. Parents are to work in unity. Presiding in the family includes leading family members in prayer, gospel study, other aspects of worship, as well as all sorts of other activities and responsibilities.
You said that was a handbook you're reading?
Yeah.
Handbook of what?
Handbook, Parents and Children, General Handbook, Serving in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. 2.1.3. I guess there's articles, it's like an official thing.
And Vicky, that's also right out of the temple sealing.
Oh, no, okay, yeah, work together, yeah.
Those words are right in there too.
Good, I forgot that. Good. Studies show that the biggest areas of conflict in a marriage relationship are, can you name them? Money, family, sex. This, disagreeing, I think, is pretty big in any of those areas, right? So let's talk about disagreeing. Like our governor has proposed, he says we've got to do disagreement better. We've got to disagree better. This article is from the BYU magazine. It's a gal who focuses on political disagreements and how to do disagreement better. Disagreement and conflict aren't bad words. It just means two individuals with different perspectives and backgrounds. Okay. The real rotten part is treating people with contempt. We can disagree and still retain dignity, but contempt, that should never be on the table. It says, I saw my own contempt in small ways. My eye roll, my dismissiveness, my labeling or othering. Anyway, this business is called, anyway, you can read it later. She says, disagree better, which is the entity, recommends 4 steps. Be curious, listen to understand, respect opinions, and find common ground. So those are ways to disagree better. I did have this little handout. I looked it up from the Utah Marriage Commission. I don't know, you can check that out at your own discretion. But right now, I'd like to see how you do with a problem. This is a problem of these 2 folks, Elena and Nicholas. I need you in a group of 4. And they have a dilemma. They want 2 different things that are 2 beautiful, wonderful things that are needed and necessary. But they're 2 different things. How do they come to a conclusion? So, group of 4, discuss this. I don't know how you guys are going to do it. Sure. Perfect. Who's going to take that? Thank you, Chris. Hi. Can you get 2 other people? We got 2 folks here.
We got one car.
She asked for a quick woman for spoke up.
home full-time, in addition to occasionally working small side jobs. Nicholas believes his role in providing the home, as well as being the one who earns the money, means he should have final say in how the money is spent. Helena feels she should have more power decisions that involve the children, since she was sometimes in the past, without telling Nicholas she has spent the money to go where she wants. Nicholas and Eleanor have recently been discussing what to do with some money they have saved. Nicholas would like to use the purchase of vehicle that would make it easier for individuals and for their family to go around. Eleanor would like to use money to take the children on vacation, to visit the same family and have a before the children were Nicholas and Eleanor roommates and land with them. What would you say is the biggest challenge facing Nicholas and Eleanor? Deciding what to do with their money. What do you think they need to understand about equal partnership and providing related to making decisions for their money? If you were Nicholas or Eleanor, how would you approach your spouse to help them better about their family and advice for First question again. What would you say the biggest challenge is deciding what to do?
I suppose they've made this into a power struggle instead of, you know, support you in making the money. You need to support our family and feed, you know, the family. It's not, that's not his job and her job, that's their job.
In retrospect, same sort of thing. Looking back now, I would say they're both equally. I have to do the work, I have to have the I need to take that so I have to
but again, it's not recognizing that your roles are a little bit different than saying, you know, because I've got this decision breadwinner, I've got say, or say, well, no, that's not, breadwinning is for the family, it's not for him, for his ego or his whatever.
Or drives carpools everywhere, you know. Just because his is making money, hers is
What if they're
really hashing it over, trying to compromise and figure out what's gonna be good for everyone.
Which is what you try to do in the whole family.
They are both great scenarios.
They should do it individually and. Yeah, both, yeah. You know, he needs to get a better job. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm just saying that, you know, it's everybody. Use the power for the kids. Yeah, really.
I would have the vacation when I like the
Yeah.
Money is just the medium of exchange. You have money for data. Something you want is also need. That's a nice place to be, but generally it's just something that's right. The needs of the family and children.
I think you have to be careful about involving kids in some of these decisions.
Oh, no, for sure. No, this is between the lane and the
That's right.
I think they can learn by watching. I don't think they can. I want to know what my kids do, whether I should buy a car or go on a trip. They only think of what's in the moment, but I think they can learn by watching you. Solve a problem, figure out what to do. That's how they learn.
I'm reminded of a situation that happened in our family years ago when we were discussing nice things. And I was talking about taking our family of course, when I was the younger two kids, my oldest daughter said, wait a minute, are they coming with us? Says, well, of course, it's a family. That's ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
And then to kind of find
Not even necessarily to make
You don't want them listening to partners. We're gonna do this right now.
The thing of it is that you were raising the kids. You just weren't there every minute, but you were their model. You came home to them, you did things, you just had to go to work. She just had to do carpools and clean the house and do all of that stuff. And you had different jobs, but raising the kids was your job to discuss.
Very kids all end up being drug addicts and partners 12, I think. Those are your problems too.
Right?
And I think, like Vicky said, some cultures, the idea of presiding means something different, like work means.
Hey, one more minute.
Maybe just.
Love and righteousness. I don't think when I was raising my family, I don't think I did that.
Well, you know, when
Couple of instances, several instances of like, experience. Where I did it right, where you they remember to this day. One of my sons,
and so I was like trying to like
he was driving to work.
like figure out each other and like I just said like we said before I do have to and then my oldest son is like she said something
How much sleep he was getting anyway. He drove the car off the road and damaged the car. What's the first thing I do? Are you all right?
yeah, they're so good. It's all about communication.
We're nicely towards material things, and that's
funny, it's
just stuff.
so many of our family members.
But he still talks about, you know, he thought I was.
Okay, let's regroup.
You had to make sure he was well.
Exactly.
You didn't want
Now,
to
there's
get
still consequences. Still consequences, but you know, it's just having those experiences where you demonstrate what's important.
What's important.
And that's what, and that's what's important.
So, what did you come up with? How can both parties feel resolution to their needs? Silence. What did you think? First, let's go with the first question. What's the biggest challenge facing them both in deciding what to do? Yes.
I think first they just both have to let go of their little things that they want to control, you know? Like how he feels like he works more, so he gets to be in charge of the money, and she feels like she's with the kids more, so she gets to spend the money how she wants. Just, yeah, that struggle, when
Yeah.
one tugs, the other one tugs a little harder.
Yeah.
And then when we loosen and like let go a little bit, it just naturally like somehow, I don't know how it works, but it just naturally you come together better.
You're unified, yeah. I have a friend and they are very detail oriented and does a lot of research and gets the best price and knows that this is the best way to do it and the most logical. And their spouse doesn't have any input and that person is shut down. I mean, the relationship is not a thriving, nurturing relationship, which is sad, because someone needs to back off and allow someone else to work through it, even though it's not the most time or the cheapest or the best way to, you have to let the other person have a say. What else? How could they resolve this? Communication, okay, which involves,
Yeah, I mean, we could get a little bit cheaper car and she could get the rest of the money.
Yeah.
And they could still go visit family,
and they'll both be happy, they can both be happy.
Yeah.
What other options for him getting a car? He could lease a car, that's not a big, huge payment, that's a monthly payment, so they save money that way at that time in their life. What's another option for a big, huge vacation?
A smaller vacation.
Right?
They could buy the car and drive.
What?
Buy the car and drive to the vacation.
There you go, do it all. Yeah, any other things that came up? Any other ideas how they could both be happy? Yeah.
I think, these are things that they're trying to decide, but I think it's just gonna keep going throughout the rest of their marriage. It's not gonna be just the car and the vacation. It just seems like there's a deeper problem that needs to be resolved. But we were talking about sometimes it's helpful to have a third party because it seems like maybe he's not listening to her and she's like, well, forget that, I'm gonna do whatever I want then. So that the communication, like was already stated, is just not quite.
Right.
Maybe they don't know how, because it's been 10 years of, it sounds like it's kind of gone along this way, but, so we're thinking like maybe speak to your bishop or like get a therapist or, or something like that. I don't know, but like a third party that maybe can help give them some tools so that they can
negotiate.
Yeah, resolve things.
I'm a big believer in marriage counseling, yes. I've benefited myself and there are professionals that can help. This is a real sticky issue. Yes.
And then you talked about including the Lord.
Okay, yeah.
The Lord in your relationship,
Okay.
relying on Him and humbling yourself.
Like I'm reminded the definition of family believing, a family argument that starts and ends with a prayer. I don't wanna make fun of that, but yeah, include the Lord, yeah.
Well, and what she's saying here too, we talk about, they literally want to pray individually,
and read your scriptures, but do it together.
Yeah.
Because when you ask a question, which direction should we go, and you're doing that, you will get answers,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
and you will, there's no doubt, you know, if that's what they're doing, so they're
Yeah.
putting road first, and she also mentioned something too, that before all this happens, which I agree with her, she says, you know, let her say everything she wants to say about it, and he keeps quiet.
Mhm.
And let him say everything he wants to say about it, she keeps quiet.
Sure.
So you really know exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah. Maybe that can address some issues and they could be good with that. Yes, at the back.
Oh, I was just thinking, I'm not an expert in this, but I did go to a really great class of education, Carlene was there too, at Tamara Cockrell, she's a mediator down at UH, who talks about conflict in marriage and communication, and I was thinking about, this week's, Palmy, which is about the law, this constitution of the land, and we have this constitution that's set up, and it's basically set up to handle conflicts in our country. But she talks about how you can do that in your home in a smaller way. And you can have systems set up for managing conflict. You can have times and space, time and space that you talk about your conflict. Like my husband and I do try to do a couple of counsel every Sunday mornings or something, and talking about issues. It doesn't always end well. Sometimes it ends in tears. You know, we're trying. And and she talked about having some rules. You know, you set up some rules for how to manage your conflicts, and we're not gonna raise our voice, we're not gonna say, critical comments about each other, we're not gonna
Do it late at night when we're all tired. and
So,
hungry,
because sometimes we think this has to just happen whenever we want, and but I think if you have a time and place and have some rules set up, it is a little bit helpful, and we're still working on that. Like I said, I went to this class when I was really inspired, and I think those are some really good ideas.
Oh, neat. Great.
To help with conflict, so.
Cool.
She's also a divorce attorney.
She's a divorce attorney.
She knows.
So she has seen the other
Expert.
side of it so much, and I think
Expert.
she also does counseling. So
Yeah.
she went and got a degree in this too, so it's kind of an interesting
Yeah.
to have that.
Wonderful.
That combination of someone that can look at both sides and kind of see what the problems are that she sees with all the people coming in to get divorced, and she can counsel.
What a talent. Yeah. What a gift. Anything else that stood up? Oh, sorry.
Well, I can't remember how many years ago, it was probably 6 years. The church was really big into these resilience programs. And we attended the one for financial independence. And it was just amazing. What it did for us, because I was a spender and she was a saver. And so we just struggled with that. I came from a family that was not super wealthy, but we always had everything we wanted. We weren't spoiled, but we got to do lots of things. And like most parents, you just want your children's life to be better than yours was. And so, anyway, my point is that the Lord has His programs for us. And I don't know when those classes will be run again. We haven't seen the news for a while. I think it was mostly because there wasn't much interest in the state and helping church life. But if they ever come back, even at this age in your life, if you're retired, there's still great things you can do there, and you can share it with your children and help them. Because they're going through the struggles you went through 20 years or 30 years ago.
Yeah, there's so many resources in conflict management. That's the term these days. All helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
Samuel's self-reliant courses are online. You go to the
Yeah.
church website.
Yeah, they're online. Yes, you bet. Yes, come.
President Updike Benson gave a talk on pride. And if you haven't seen that, you ought to find it and look at it, because pride is destructive in relationships. I'm smarter than you, I know what to do, and that's a banger.
Yeah.
Now, that talk is beautiful, it really is. It
Wonderful.
talks about that.
Benchmark, yeah. All right, was there another comment? Yes.
I think every marriage, you know, and the longer it goes, even the most successful ones, you're going to craft your own sort of arrangement, right?
Right.
The things that you tend to do, the things that the other one tends to do, and that's okay. And at some point, everyone runs into a situation where, oh, okay, we're not going to be able to deal with this with our usual arrangement, whatever that arrangement is.
Right.
And so I think, you know, if we don't have a constitution and we don't have, you know, the
Things
warning
in place.
things and all the different, those mechanisms, which I wish we did, and if we don't, and so most of the time we don't, at least to be able to say, we've prepared nothing, but let's recognize that this is something that this falls outside of our usual arrangements. And so we're gonna just have to set aside our usual arrangements while we figure this out together. Like, it's a good arrangement, it's worked fine, but maybe it is time for that arrangement to change. Maybe it has to do with a change, like now we're empty nesters. And so now we really do have to make we have to shift things a bit. But I think just pausing and recognizing, you know, like, oh crap, we're disagreeing. We don't usually disagree like this. We gotta pause and let's set aside our roles and our deal and take a fresh look at this.
And change is hard and takes energy, and, you know, by this advanced age, you figured some things out, but perhaps you got an idea today to make something a little better or more equitable in your relationships. And that's our challenge. I'd like to leave these things with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Would anybody like to volunteer for a closing prayer? No? Yeah, Lana, thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for the discussion that we have had today, and pray that we will each use the things that we have talked about and that Vicki has taught us, that we can apply them to our lives and to also those that we love. We are grateful for the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we are grateful for our Savior and for his atoning sacrifice. We're grateful that we have his example that we can pattern our lives after, and bless us in our efforts. We pray that as we approach Journal Conference, that our hearts and our minds will be in tune with those things that we need in our lives, and be prepared to accept and make changes, and to also flow by Spirit. And we're grateful for church leaders and for their sacrifices and for the things that we can learn and be taught from BCBC's in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. That's right, it's conference this weekend, right? Same, good.